I don't think nobody really prepares you. You know, I say I don't think anyone prepares you for this feeling of feeling like alone, feeling unseen. Um, I never had this class in high school or anything like that, but I'm talking about feeling invisible um, in in my marriage at times, and and I want to talk to you guys just about a few points that just been on my mind lately. Um, Again, this is not advice. This is not um, you know no blame, no nothing. Just saying things out loud. So um, I think when I first noticed a shift, it, I think it was just a random day where I think our baby was a couple months old, and I just felt like I wasn't getting the respect or common courtesy that I would get. Like, I forgot what I was doing. I was saying something, like I was talking, and I just got ignored. Like, I know I talked loud enough for her to hear it, and she just didn't say anything. And I know we was already kind of like things aren't perfect at that point, anyways. But but yeah, just ignored and blatantly, in my opinion. I don't know, you know, it could be in my head, but I'm just telling you how I felt in the moment, and it was tough. It was kind of like, wow, is things, am I that bad? Am I that worthless, you could say, or um, useless? It really, it really showed that, faith wise, and part of my Christian teaching is that, when a husband and wife get married, it's, God first, then your husband and wife, your kids and family, and yada yada yada. However you break it down, and you know, I don't know where I feel I ranked at the time, but I didn't feel like I ranked top three, top four. I tell you that. Um, I felt just alone, um, lonely, and it hurt. But at the time, I had to just. Well, I'm feeling this way. I gotta think. I'm always, I always still try to think about how she's feeling, and postpartum. Is it stress? Is it just baby stuff? I know things aren't perfect, but you know, I know we haven't really connected like that. And before I know what really the issue was, but I just didn't know per se how bad things were really into that moment. I'll say really stuck out, and feeling that from that point and translating to day to day, it was more like I was more measuring myself, like trying to confirm, like, am I going crazy or am I right? Like, am I really feel? Do I really feel alone? Do I really feel invisible in this? And yeah, it's pockets. it's never all bad, you know. There's good pockets and good momentum and great days that can turn into a couple days, and one bad incident or something I did that's messed up, it seems to like trigger something, and it just goes down the pipe like, oh, I forgot how much milk was in her bottle for recording, or I could ask a simple thing about the baby, and it's automatically like, oh, you're invisible because I can do. It feels like, okay, if you can't do it on your own with the baby, then I don't know. It just feels like, oh, if I wasn't able to help in this one aspect with the baby, then like, I'm just clocking you off for the whole day because I feel like I can do it better myself. And I'm not gonna say I'm a natural, like becoming a dad was like easy instincts, natural day one. I had to learn my instincts and get there because with the way the relationship was and stuff like that, I I didn't know. I was more because I felt unsafe in the relationship. I felt more worrisome in terms of making things worse than my usually confident self. Like when I know things are good or when I know, I'm loved and cared for, when I feel that way, then I'm willing to take risk and just try things because I know that I'm still welcome. I know I'm still loved. I know I'm still cared for. So when I don't have that, it really clouds my judgment, I'll say. And so that was kind of a day to day process. Me just with clouded judgment, trying to just learn from somebody that knows more, obviously, at this point for me. I mean, not to say she knows it all and that I couldn't give advice, but, you know, I I don't. It's kind of like I don't want to tell the person that's been way more curious how to do this thing. Um, I give my inputs here and there, but I'm not. I'm like, oh, why are you doing it like this? I'm trying to just observe and learn, and she makes mistakes, but I'm not ever pushy or yelling at that because I feel like that's every parent. Every parent makes mistakes. I never met a parent that didn't make mistakes or didn't do things properly. That didn't do no mistakes or nothing like that. Or raising a kid to take backs, which they did better or different. So I don't know. But really, that's kind of like how the day to day was for a while. Really, until I get my bearings underneath me. Um, so with this feeling now and with this like new sound of like depression almost and basically and in nuance to this relationship, it's like what am I telling myself? You probably wondering, all right, so what are you telling yourself versus what you not to say, or what you don't say, and you know, and that's a good question because it's kind of like, okay, you're not giving the love that you might be craving, but also it's not really your time for that. Like you are, yes, you need that, you want that, but right now you're not priority right now. And if you want to fix you got to fix this. So I think primarily what you're telling yourself is you got to show up. Like she can get mad, she can get angry, you know, she's gonna be upset about certain things, but what you can't do is not show up or try. So no matter what, no matter what they're complaining, I know for myself from my past experiences that I can adapt and I can grow and I can learn. Like this is not a forever thing. Problems this week won't be problems next week. Um, I get better and better every day, and soon this whole issue about me forgetting this, forgetting that, will be a thing in the past. And so that's just keep telling myself. I don't say, man, maybe I am useless, or man, maybe she's right, or what's wrong with me, or why am I like this? I can't do that because then it puts you like you're special, like you're different from anybody else, or like, something's wrong for you mentally. When it's really, you do research. Well, I did research and stuff like that, just like for help and for advice for stuff like this. And like a lot of guys are going through the same thing. You know, I think that really boosted my confidence and helped me tell myself like, hey, sometimes you just can't care what she thinks, because sometimes she's gonna say whatever she feels at the moment, because she might be mad or upset or whatever's going on chemically inside of her or whatever. You gotta know that you're doing good. Like, if nobody's gonna tell you this, you gotta tell yourself you're doing good. And so that's what I did, telling myself every day. Um, and especially when I see the progress and growth, it's a pat on myself back. Like, yeah, see, you got this. So just keep telling yourself that. Of course, keep praying, keep the faith, but yeah, just keep telling yourself that. Don't speak down on yourself or think that you are alone in this journey, or that no one else has been in your shoes. It feels like that at times, but you're not. You're not. Um, but of course, these problems are being fixed in a day, with the marriage issues. Um, it's so it's you know how does somebody else? How do I handle this? How would I cushion myself to take some of these blows and these feelings, and catch myself pulling back. Not overextending myself, not being so cheerful and happy just to get a negative emotion back. I I didn't want to give myself that chirky, cheery, perky, like happy, loving to see you attitude when I'm not getting that back. Like, and it's not like, oh, it's 1 day or 2 days. Like, I do it for a couple of days or a week or two, and I just get nothing back, just flat. And not just in the morning when I come home, going to bed. I'm getting that. I'm getting that energy, and she's valid for her own reasons to have that energy, but I tend to find myself pulling back, so I'm not hurting myself. So I'm not hurting or wondering why this is happening. I'm not dwelling on it. I'm just like, she needs time, she needs stuff like that, but I'm gonna pull back and just not get hurt by this as much as possible until until we're at that point where we can try working through this, or we're kind of in better spirits, better positions, which is kind of a hopeful thing, because you're kind of just waiting for what? I don't know. I'm just trying to be a better man than I was yesterday, but I make myself emotionally available to talk, to discuss, to plan. I'm optimistic, so you know I'm always hoping for the best at the end of the day, but it's tough. It is tough. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. So you pull back sometimes, or I pull back sometimes to protect myself from that. Um, to end this little episode session, um, you know, the invisible feeling you feel, it's real, it's there. I think what's best to do is to accept it, to know that this is an issue. Um, what I learned, every marriage is different, of course, but what I learned for myself is that prolonging things or dwelling on things is never good. It might be advice that you probably heard before, everybody says, but it's better just to address the elephant in the room. It's better to just, if not for anybody, for yourself, because with feeling invisible, you're most likely not talking the way you guys should talk, and that leaves your mind to ponder on things that may not be real, or you just don't know for sure, and that just leads to different thoughts, and it can bring you down a bad rabbit hole. So I think with the invisible feeling, it's real, it's true. People go through it in their stages in marriage. Like, I don't think you get to 30 years of marriage without going through some type of um, turmoil or ups and downs. There's gonna be versions of your husband or wife you're just not gonna love fully. Um, I think that's part of just talking, working it out. I think if you love each other, you know, eventually you tend to recognize your partner and not treat them invisible, or you try to make it work or not. But I feel like, you know, if you don't talk about it, you don't dwell on it, and it just prolongs situations that can get easier, that can be easier closed or addressed than later, and making problems bigger than it should be. But, you know, that's my thoughts. That's my reflection on, feeling invisible in my marriage. Um, I don't feel like that today, but I definitely do remember it. So, just want to say, if this hits you, you're not alone.